And Brooke, you can expand on that about direct relief, like what we.
Yeah. So a lot of with a lot of charities, they actually can leverage their donations. You can get work with discounts and things like that. So with direct relief, and I know a couple other charities they are able to leverage how much the equipment they get for so direct relief. Our medicines that we get, $1 gets $40 in medicine. So that's ridiculous. So your $1 donations or anything your $5 you raised in a 6-hour stream, it's actually making a difference. You need to remember that, because I remember with Zeldathon sometimes I'm always oh man, we are not doing well, but then reassure myself oh, all this money is gonna be helping everyone else out. So at the end of the day, it's still an amazing thing.
Right. Now let's continue on with our more metaphorical fake charity marathon we're building here. We've chosen our pretend charity, and we've accepted that our Walmart $30 microphone is good enough, and we're going to raise a little bit of money. But how do we raise more money? Incentivizing donations, because if you just go in there and be like, hey, we're raising money for a good cause, you might get some donations, absolutely. But sometimes you want to spice it up a little bit, give a little bit of reward for their buck. Kay, do you want to give any examples of some of your favorite things that we've done to sell out for charity?
Oh, man. It's been a wild ride, because you've had charity water, the marathon. My first marathon, I did some hot sauce shots. I remember drinking hot sauce for charity, eating half a jar of peanut butter, just all kinds of weird things like slaps, or being duct taped together with a person through the new year.
Oh,
that's also pretty fun.
Yeah. Grant, do you have any particular favorites as well in your old memory banks?
Oh gosh, particular favorites. I mean, this is works well for us because we're a bit larger and may not work for smaller ones. But leave things where you're just kind of all right, we're done, and just keep the game on, and everybody just walks off camera, and you're just fun crazy shenanigans like that, or fun for the people who are doing them, fun for the people who are watching. And that's kind of what the stream is about.
Yeah,
being entertaining.
We have a goal now. We had to leave where everybody's gets off the couch, off camera, walks off, and that was funny. But then we upgraded to cancel Zeldathon, where when that gets rolled, because we got this brand new lighting rig, we're all happy. Everybody gets up off couch, and then somebody behind tech turns off the lights and everything.
Do we mute the mics too?
We do mute the microphones sometimes. It's the stream's dead.
We're going to steal this in a minute because I need to get some rest.
Unfortunately, it only lasts about 30 seconds before we're okay, we gotta get back to work. Yep. So if you want that solid 30-second power nap, you're in. But
a lot of it is just finding something that your audience or your friends or your family might be interested in, or
Absolutely.
Finding some weird shit that you couldn't even imagine. There was one girl that did a stream where she bought 2 fish, and every $10 donation, her friend would slap her in the face with a dead fish. So
they were dead fish.
They were, yes,
I
they
thought
were.
it was goldfish. I was like,
no,
sweet.
No, see, both would be terrible. I guess one would be worse, and I'm not sure which one. But
don't tell Peter.
But we literally were watching her get slapped with a fish, and she raised hundreds of dollars for our charity. So we have a screensaver at our headquarters. Sometimes it will just show random images, and one of them is just her getting hit with a fish, because by the end of it there was just fish guts, and she actually had scratches on her face from the scales. So, but I remembered that one.
Yeah, you
can't forget
something like that. So sometimes the goals in the sense obviously for stuff like Zeldathon or this fish slapping stream that I've become aware of. That's really fine and dandy, but there's marathons and stuff like GDQ, which are a touch more serious, where the focus is on the game, and a lot of the incentives are a little bit more serious. And the Half Empty E-Tank crew, you guys have done some fun incentives related to the game. Do you want to talk about your? I'm sorry, I forgot the actual name of the pass the controller thing.
Oh, okay. So
I've been a part of it, but I forgot the name of it.
we actually we went to a panel at MagLabs, and it was called the Mega Man Power Hour. It was with Content Productions. Yeah. Okay, and basically all it was everyone in a room in a row. So we'd start here and go down, have 2 minutes with the controller, and at the end of 2 minutes you have to drop it, no matter what. And we were trying at that panel. You had to try and beat Mega Man 1. Well, we invited them to come over to our stage after that to do Mega Man 2. Well, but we kind of upped the ante, and we kind of turned it into kind of a wrestling match. So now we don't know who's going to actually attempt to beat the game and who's going to be a heel. And last time we raised $500 we raised $500 to make me a good guy, and then immediately right after that, we raised another $500 for me to turn off the console. And I was just like, hey, I pretty much came in there just to be like, I'm at your everything you want, I can do. But you had a different experience with that one, actually.
Yeah, so our moderator, Skipper, was really good at that game. So he was playing right before me, and he decided to, play some tricks on me. So there's a glitch that gets you, I guess, stuck in the level of, I guess, Cutman stage, I guess. Mm-hmm. And he got me stuck, and I did not know how to get out of it. So I spent all my turn trying to figure out, and I'm just kind of like going through all these screens, and everything's just a garbled mess. And pretty much wasted my turn.
I think I slapped the controller out of your hand, too.
That, too.
Yeah, that.
You might have to watch your back today.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, the Mega Man X Power Hour is tomorrow.
Hutch, were you part of the Mario one at Cinco de Mario? Were you part of that?
Oh, yes.
Yes, and where he can't be smiling at me, and I hate him. I hate him again because I was trying to beat Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers. I was gonna beat it. I was doing so good, and then this guy at the end. What did you do?
I put Mario in his face.
Yeah.
And I shut off the console, and I kept resetting, and then we'd die, and then I'd hit his controller out of his hand.
And in Mario 1, when you get to the when you get a game over, you'd hold the A button, hit start to go back to like the world you were at, like so you don't lose all your progress. But it would get back to it, and Brooke would look over and just hit start with that whole A, and then back 1-1, and we're stuck at 1-1 again. And it was the worst, and it was a lot of fun. And we raised a lot of money for charity.
Wasn't that supposed to be your first time ever beating the actual Mario 1 or something like that?
I beat Mario 1.
Hey,
who do you think I am?
Hey, you know what? There's no shame in not beating specific games. Everyone has certain areas.
If you beat Mario 1 in the audience, raise your hand. This is.
See,
welcome everybody to the Super Mario Brothers
I see a
panel.
50%, and it's
Can we get
okay.
the CRTs?
It's okay. There's no shame here.
1,000 CRTs? Okay. No. Tex says no. Actually, he just kind of smiled at me. And back to our theoretical marathon here. So when we're thinking about, incentivizing donations and all this, and at the end of the day, it's like, how long should my event be? How long of a stream should I do for charity? And honestly, as time has gone along, with Zeldathon, we do the 6-day events. And, that is fine and dandy because we have 70 attendees. But when you are all by your lonesome, being like, I'm going to do a 3-day stream is a recipe for disaster and disappointment and sadness and possibly falling asleep on stream. Is Eric in here? Eric, Pop-Tart Gamer falling asleep on stream. Majora's Mask.
It's got 3 million views, and he doesn't even own the video.
It's a true skill.
The moon just collapsed on Terminator. He's playing Majora's Mask. The moon is...
Somebody wake him up.
What was I even talking about? Yeah, Grant, do you want to talk about pacing yourself a little bit?
Pacing yourself, good gosh. Pacing yourself, yeah. Don't do a 3-day stream if it's just by yourself. I mean, you want to, be awake. You want to be alert. You don't want to be like in a situation where you're falling asleep and you just don't have the stamina to continue doing what you're doing, because then it just kind of brings the whole stream down, especially if you're by yourself.
It brings you down, brings the
whole stream down. You're going to lose people's interest, and they're going to stop watching because you're not being interesting anymore, entertaining anymore, because you're just so tired and you're like,
You could raise a lot more money if you went to bed and came back and in 8 hours and streamed another 6 or 12.
Yeah.
Pace yourself. That's the good way to do it.
That's because your health is important as well as raising money for charity, so make sure you take care of yourself first and foremost.
You can't save the world in a single night.
It's also important to note that the hours from midnight to about 6 a.m. will be very rough.
Always.
Those will be the worst ones because there will be a little bit less donations. People are sleeping, but when it hits 7 o'clock, for some reason, it picks up. So.
Yeah.
And also, although it may sound fun when I say it out loud, It's not fun. You're going to have those moments between those hours, 12 a.m., 6 a.m., a little bit later even, where your incentivizing also becomes more erratic, and you do things like dress up your friend like a Christmas tree and sing carols around them. Shoop, if you're out there listening to the stream, that's still my favorite thing we've ever done.
That was a good one.
I was asleep.
That was a good one.
I was asleep during that. That's why it got cleared past. It got past the moderation phase of.
That was the marathon of the Cinnabon.
No, that was my favorite. That was just like, dude, we got Christmas lights. Someone needs to dress up. And then all of a sudden, Shoop was a Christmas tree.
The marathon of Cinnabon. Okay, please tell the story. The marathon of Cinnabons.
There was one marathon where we were running.
St. Jude.
We were running very, very low on food, and like not everybody had enough money to chip in. But I used to work at a pretzel place, and we also did Cinnabon. So I would like bring bags of pretzels and Cinnabon, and that's all we had to eat. Nothing actually healthy for you. It's just piles and piles upon Cinnabon.
It was, we were grateful, but there was also that moment where on the fourth day, and we walked downstairs like, what's there to eat? It's like Cinnabon.
Please, I don't think I've eaten Cinnabon since, actually.
Yeah,
No, neither have I. Same.
No.
Yeah.
It's been 4 years.
Dodging cinnamon rolls.
Yeah.
So do we have any other any big things before we get into this, the fun story section? Anything else here? Anybody that has to add about organizing charity marathons before we start?
I've got one thing.
Yeah.
Don't do a charity unless it's like something like what they're doing. Don't do a 72-hour charity at a con. It's a terrible idea. That's what it was. We are in this mistake for the long haul. Don't do it.
Biggest thing is don't do 24-hour streams by yourself. That's probably the most important thing.
Start them.
Do 6-hour streams, do 8-hour streams, do it over a couple days. It's so important to make sure your health, if you're doing it by yourself, a lot of people's max for streaming is 4 hours, and a lot of people are like, oh, I can game for 4 hours and talk to my screen. It's actually 10 times harder than you think it is, trying to be entertaining for that long and then trying to do it for 24 hours. So that's my biggest advice is don't ever do a 24-hour stream by yourself. Have at least 4 people with you to do that.
So now we're going to have a little bit of a fun segment, as invented by Craig. Don't say when I say the word segment. Anybody want to run this microphone around? The Zoltan team member here that wants to run this microphone
we figured
around?
out.
Bluey, look at you. Look,
That's where
volunteerism. That's what we need at charity marathons. Volunteer. Yeah. Turning on this microphone now, audio guy. It's on. Okay. Yeah, there you go. So if you want to answer a question, just put your hand up. If you want to ask us a question, we'll get that first. So anybody here who's organized or a charity marathon or been part of one, we kind of want to know how your first event went. So if you want to tell a little story about how your first event went, hand up in the air. Oh God. Jackson. Then right now.
Is this okay? So the first one I did, we do this one called the Myriathon, and we've been doing it for 5.5 years now. The first one I did, I attended it, and I was so awkward because I was just like, I don't know these people. I was invited here by a friend. I don't know what's going on. But just seeing the donations roll in and then getting upwards of 1,500, I think we raised that year, was just very exciting. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I think that when we kind of want to respond to that, Blue, you can take the mic. I think that you've said your piece. It's always weird. I've had instances so I came to Cinco de Mayo. Me and Campy both did, and we met the half-empty E-Tank crew. We met them very barely at MAGFest. Yep. And then we got invited to their house where they were holding it, and we were driving to who knows where in America, and it was there's this random house. Is this the one? Remember when we saw through the window?
Yeah, we were like, that looks like a charity marathon.
we saw a charity marathon, but even better than that, we saw a giant inflatable Mario.
That's right.
Balloon. He was this big. He was a big boy. I was like, I think this Cinco de Mario. I think we found it. And
that guy haunted us for days.
I loved him. I fell in love with that giant balloon. I wanted to take him home.
The air conditioning circulation would just have him casually move down the hallway on his own. It was nuts. My cats hated it.
It was so fun going to that event for the first time because it was like, you know, it was like one of the first times like I had gone to like one of these big charity events like, where I wasn't like in a director role. I was kind of like just an attendee, and it was different. And I felt that kind of that same awkwardness where you're kind of like, oh, it's nice to meet everyone. Like, who are you? There's a guy at half a meeting. He juggles. I'm like, look at that guy. He looks strong. Whoosh, and off he goes.
By the way, he's doing a juggle show on Saturday for 20 minutes. Come by, see it. It's at 4:30.
And it was weird at first. I'm not going to lie to these fine people on my stage. It was weird at first. I was like, I don't know who these people are, and here I am, and I'm going to play Mario with them. But as donations started to come in, and like I started to see them work, I was like, this isn't much different than what I've done in the past. They're friendly people, and you become part of that family real quick.
My favorite thing was how quickly all of our inside jokes melded together during that process. So a lot of Zeldathon people showed up to Cinco de Mario to watch, and we weren't familiar with half of the inside jokes. So there'd be like a bunch coming in, and just like, and Campy and MC were just dying in their chair. And we're just like, what's going on? But then we had this communal inside joke happen, where we were during the thing, we would have someone donate $25, and we would draw something in Mario Paint while doing a run. And the dumbest thing came in. This poor guy accidentally wrote hot sauce, and he misspelled it with hot sauce, S-O-C-E.
The sauce.
And we were so dumb tired at the point that was the funniest thing in the world to us.
Hot sauce.
We made a hot sauce. Like painting, and then it became a hot sauce emote. And no one else knows this yet, but now there might be a hot sauce.
Really?
Maybe coming at this next Cinco de Mario.
This meme has gone too far.
It's transcended.
Yeah. Anybody else here have any first marathon awkwardness but loving embraces that followed stories?
Jackson.
Hold on, actually, we open up the thing. Go ahead, Eric.
Hey, what's up, gamers?
I'm not going to look at you.
So I'm the guy who fell asleep on stream that they were talking about. I was doing a marathon. It was called Smoopathon. It was named after my friend Smoople. And we had like some dumb bet. It was like, if he did something, I would do a 24-hour stream of Majora's Mask, because I've never played it at that point. And I can tell you what, it wasn't a fair trade, but he did his part, so I did my part, and I decided to make it a charity marathon. I think I raised for St. Jude, I'm not sure. But yeah, I was up for like 24 hours and trying to be entertaining, and eventually I just reached the point where I just couldn't do it anymore. And I passed out. Then, so I had like 40 viewers at the time, and throughout the stream. Well, as soon as I fell asleep, like 10 minutes later, this guy raided me with like 500 people. So I had 500 people just watching me like pass out. I don't think I ever woke up.
You're here right now, my guy.
Some stay still sleeping.
There were a lot of great comments in chat. Luckily, I had chat up on screen, and like somebody uploaded the video to YouTube. It's like 30 minutes long. That's the only footage I have, sadly, of that marathon. But it got like 3.4 million views, so I still hear about it today. It was worth it. I ended up doing a second Smoopathon, which was pretty fun. That time I didn't fall asleep. I was very close, though, I'll tell you what. And Smoopathon 3, when is it? I don't know, but hopefully soon.
It was really fun. I don't know if anybody else up here has a falling asleep on stream story, but I know for the first Zeldathon, the first one we held in 2009, I was taking a nap. There was 2 people at this marathon, by the way. I was taking a nap, and the other guy, Zach, his job was to play Ocarina of Time. He fell asleep in the chair while playing Ocarina of Time, and so for like 2 hours, it's just Link standing in the middle of Hyrule Field doing his sword swinging, boot kicking animation, and the chat being like, Are they done? Is this the end? And then apparently Zach woke up. I was still asleep. Zach woke up and he just kept playing, and there was like no words said about it. It was just like Link just took a break. Anybody else up here have any stories for sleeping?
Hutch, do you want to tell the Jer story?
I think you can do it better than I can.
Oh, okay. It's almost charity related. Does anyone remember Molly Jam? It was a game jam where people would take construed tweets by Peter Molyneux and make games based on those tweets. Well, there was only 2 years of it, and the second year we hosted Molly Jam Durham. It was the second stream we ever did after the original Mega Marathon, and we're kind of using it to learn how to actually do stuff right. The only thing I think we got right was the fact that when our friend Jairus fell asleep on a beanbag that just so happened to be covered with green screen. So we just put the camera on him for 5 hours with just a rotating image slider of kittens doing kung fu. And pictures of Peter Molyneux, and I tried to get it to where he was eating Jairus. By the way, if you want to high five Jairus, he's out there probably sleeping. But that's the only one. No, wait a minute. At Mother Trucker Marathon, a prep stream, Hutch fell asleep, and we ever so slightly tried to put the green screen behind him, but he woke up right when we put the images behind him.
Do we want to go to Jackson? Did you have something there?
You have a good story?
Short one. We'll take short ones.
At my first charity gaming marathon, there was a wonderful woman who came with a big silver plate of Cinnabon, and I was very grateful for her.
Bless
Thanks,
you, Jackson.
I appreciate you.
And we can expand this question in case anybody else have anything to say.
Questions in general, if you have.
General questions.
About anything.
If you haven't started a charity marathon, if you want to talk about what you're
or funny
thinking.
stories you want to hear.
Yeah.
Hey, there's one right there. I see you. You're in the light, so you may
You're shining
be
bright.
Jesus. I don't know.
When can we get official MAGFest visors?
Howdy.
Just a quick question. Are all of your streams PC, or do you guys do console as well?
I think it's really much a variety.
Yeah, all the technology is out there. Like PC is probably going to be the easiest way to stream. Like if you use XSplit or OBS, like you just capture your screen, you could just start going. But console's super easy too. Like I mean, it's really what you want it to be. And then like there's a lot of like IRL charity events now, so you just turn on your phone and go from there. So it's actually like pretty big. We all use everything. I mean, when it comes to streaming,
it really becomes a complex issue as you go along, where first you're like, okay, I'm going to stream with PC. I'm going to play Overwatch, and that's easy. And you're like, oh, I'm going to stream Breath of the Wild on my Switch. That's an HDMI cable into a little card. Boom, we're easy. And they're like, I'm going to play Ocarina of Time. It's like, well, it's an older game, so you got to get a different capture card. And then all of a sudden you're like, but what if we played 2 games at once? And then all of a sudden it gets complicated, but you know. The base of it's really simple. It's like, you know, whatever you want to play, people will probably watch. That's what it's all about.
True.
And even if you don't have a capture card, like Xbox and PlayStation, you can stream directly from the system. And we've had a lot of pretty successful marathons for our charity where someone just hooked up, they just went live on their PS4, hooked up the camera, and went to town. Yeah. So
Twitch is not the only platform, just letting you guys know that, for like broadcasting. Mixer is Microsoft's, and then there's YouTube Gaming as well. So like, and they're all is just as easy as Twitch to use when it comes to like with the Xbox Mixer is just like finger snap. So
I think we had a question over there. Ish. Wait, we have one up here too.
Howdy.
Bluey so fast. He's on it.
Hello. I have a very short attention span. How do you guys play those games for hours? Because I can only play so much.
so the core of it is either you choose a game that you really like I play Wind Waker at Zeldathon, and I love Wind Waker so much that I can sit there for the 6.5, 7 hours every time. But a lot of games we started to do like splitting them up, and it's a lot easier when you share. Like Kay, do you want to tell your story about Hyrule Warriors, how it kind of morphed over time?
It's like a giant stage play at this point, because we do 2-player runs, so I have somebody always keeping me company, but we also get Dan and Jackson on the mic for donation reading, and it's just a blast.
Donation reading is a loose way of saying what they do on the
I mean,
microphone.
watch the VODs, watch the VODs.
If you're interested, you shouldn't be. No, it's good. I didn't see any of the one. I slept through the entire ride.
Oh, are you in for a treat?
Oh, I surely. But yeah, no, attention spans. Anybody have thoughts there?
I mean, most of the time when you're doing a charity broadcast, like your main focus isn't on the game. You're just talking to the chat, like just informing every once in a while about what you're doing and just interacting because they're not. Like, I mean, they're there to see the gameplay, but they really don't care about it towards the end of the day because they just want to see your personality and just see how you are. So. Even if you're bad at video games, it really doesn't matter. Like, I hate Ocarina of Time. I crap on that game so much. I'm surprised the world doesn't hate me. I play that
I
at
get
Zelda
so
Fun.
mad because I just started playing it and it drives me bonkers. So I know what you.
I have a fan. But no, it's just entertaining the whole time, just talking. Like obviously, like interacting with other people, like having someone there with you, like your best friend, makes it 10 times
always
easier
helps.
with like attention span. So you kind of just stay focused on that. So, but gameplay doesn't really matter because as long as you're having fun, chat's not gonna care.
Because we do live streams also, and when there's games where just he plays, my attention span loses by the end of the day. Do you have any suggestions on what to keep your mind occupied?
Do you have like a chat open at the same time?
I do. Like I have like a computer off to the side. I mean, we don't get many views because we just started last year, but like it just drifts and like.
I think a lot of what you can do is like just try to in terms of charity broadcasting, what we try to do for the people who are don't really have a duty at the moment, that they kind of like either are just like doing like try to figure out the next big thing on the to do on the stream. Like gameplay is great and it's going to be like the core of your stream, but a lot of times it's like what can be the little side pass we take on our journey, I mean. We've done like cooking and baking stuff like on our streams in the past. Like we had a segment called Cooking with Abra. We have a friend named Abra, and it's like after we played 6 hours of a game, we did a cooking segment where we put the cameras over in the kitchen and he made mac and cheese, but he put like Cheese Whiz in it for donations and Doritos and all sorts of things that aren't supposed to be in my mac and cheese, and it was really good actually. And those little fun diversions are good. So honestly, I think it's kind of a creativity moment when you don't have stuff to do. Craig?
I like doing multiplayer games, like online multiplayer, because then you can make weird game modes up. So like, you could stream Overwatch and be like, all right, we're only being Roadhog on the well, or whatever it is, because then it kind of changes it up. It's still in the same universe that you're in, but you can switch it up. So we would always do like Gears of War, because we could do multiplayer, and then when everyone killed us a million times, we'd go, all right, we're doing 3 hours of Horde, everyone leave us alone, and then you can switch it over and just pick different things. So
See, I've done that with Overwatch where we made bastions just fly around. That was the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life, just bastion flying. Sweet. Thank you for the question.
Yeah.
Who here has the most experience with OBS?
Jackson.
Okay. I've had to use it a lot recently. So I mean.
Okay, so we use OBS to stream, and sometimes the game capture, if we're streaming from a console, will just freeze. Like our webcam keeps going, audio keeps going, but game is stopped. So if I unplug the HDMI and plug it back in, it's fine. Or like stop stream and start it again, it's fine. So is there a way I could fix that, or?
I mean, it just seems like an equipment, like just equipment on the end, or the software. I mean, make sure everything's up to date. Like OBS is really weird because it's not straightforward on where everything is and what's going on.
Yeah.
I know this is not like a product plug, but like XSplit's pretty easy to use on refreshing. It's probably the most like user friendly, and there's a free version you can use. So like try that out and see if like your equipment functions well with that. But at the end of the day, you're gonna have to look at like message boards and see like why your particular issue is not working.
You can always do the normal troubleshooting steps. Replace the HDMI cable because that's the cheapest option. And if replace the HDMI cable doesn't work, replace the capture card. If that doesn't work,
play a different game.
Play a different game. Buy a different console.
Well, I hope.
$27.95.
Or just do what we did with Mega Marathon and buy a new computer every year. It's a
Don't do that.
terrible
That's
idea.
Too
Don't
it's
do
too
that.
expensive. Don't do that.
Yeah, I'm using the same capture card as Mega Manathon this year, the Evermedia, and
We do have the AverMedia this year, and we are not using it. We use that at home. We use that at home, but so one of the fun things about being at a convention, and we have to deal with both a live audience and an online audience, and the fun thing about that is we have to make concessions. Like our island is out in about 40 feet away. HDMI does not like 40 feet of anything.
Don't do it.
Don't. It's bad. So instead, we had to spend about $2,000 on about 4 NDI boxes, which they're working great, but
You don't need that.
It costs money, and I'll be honest, I would never buy any of the equipment that we use for Mega Marathon if Mega Marathon didn't exist. When we started streaming, we used a Dazzler.
Oh,
dude,
man.
the Dazzle,
The
dude, the Dazzle is what's
the Dazzle.
The Dazzle.
One step up from the Diamond VC500 camera.
Yep. And the reason we used that was because Mega Man X Collection does not work in any other output but 240p. Nothing else will be able to use it.
So you purposely bought a worse capture card.
So we could actually play the game.
Awesome.
But it sounds like you might have a processor issue. Maybe if your processor's like not strong enough. But it could be a million things.
It could be like a bunch of different troubleshooting things.
Does it happen with 2 different systems though? Like if you played a different system?
Welcome to our troubleshooting.
Yeah, now we're all figuring this out.
This is like so whenever we all get together, this is what happens. We're like, so how do you fix this problem?
Well, last night we walked over to the Mega Manathon and we talked to them, and every time I was like, all right, well, see you later, see you tomorrow. And then then I turned to Brooke and I was like, man, their setup's pretty cool about microphones. And then they turned. Microphones, did you say? And that happened like 3 times, and we were there for like an hour. And it's like, I'm sorry, you have to set this up.
yeah, I mean, I've got 20 gigs of RAM, quad-core
You're
quad-thread
probably
processor.
good.
You're spending
that
it's
much
probably
money
just
on RAM.
it's probably
Check
a couple
the HDMI
different
cable first.
Yeah, HDMI.
That's the $4 fix.
AverMedia has some weird things with OBS I've realized before, like drivers and things. So like what I usually did when I had to use it, I completely uninstalled my AverMedia everything. I never used their program. I just installed the driver and then just went off everything from OBS. So try to do like a complete wipe of your capture card and then reinstall it.
Okay,
so try that
I did just reinstall Windows, so
Okay,
that should
yeah.
help.
So check that from there. Thanks for the question, though.
Thank you.
More questions? Oh, we got one.
Yo,
it's my voice.
Yo, it's Link.
Hello.
Howdy.
I'm not used to hearing my own voice through speakers, so sorry if I like stutter or trip over my own words, but I have a question that doesn't necessarily just apply to charity live streaming, but live streaming in general, but it applies to charity live streaming in the sense that, especially with larger streams like Zeldathon or AGDQ or anything like that, you tend to get some from the dark depths of the Twitches and the YouTubes. Yes, the trolls. They come out from under their bridges and they try and ruin everyone's day. So I just wanted to ask, what kind of moderating solutions would you use, or like how do you deal with them? How do you best deal with trolls?
So I don't know if Grant, do you have anything you want to say something before I go in?
I mean, you've got the suite of moderation tools that Twitch gives you. Banning users, timing out users, purging users, all that good fun stuff. I don't
automatic
know.
chat.
Auto mod can be helpful too. I don't know of any specific services that other people have built that you can integrate that help with things. Maybe they exist, maybe they don't. I don't know.
A lot of it is getting a trusted little friend group who can be moderators. And at Zeldathon, we have 3 rules. 3 rules. The mods are ninjas. They go in, they strike, and they leave. They don't be like, hey, can you please stop this? Or we may have to give you a quick timeout. We don't need that. Just bye. Nothing is said. The second rule is we don't cast shadows on chat. So related to that, we don't be like, hey everybody, you guys need to calm down. It's like, sometimes the chat's just having a good time. We don't need mods to be like, you're spamming too much. 'Cause sometimes they're spamming emotes and they're like, PogChamp, things are going great. You don't want to have the dark, spooky mods that are making everybody kind of feel sad. And our last rule is go after malicious intent. Like, a lot of times people don't intentionally go into chats wanting to be a troll. They might say something like,
Are there any other Bobs in here? And have a username like Poop Boy.
Fave.
This is so good. Yes, instant casualties.
They like, people come in like ask questions, or maybe they'll say something wrong, and like they'll be like, hey, your microphone's bad, and maybe they don't mean it like, hey, I hate you and your entire live stream. I think you should stop what you do. They're saying, is your microphone okay? Do you need a new one? Are you selected on the right input? And they may not ask in the most constructive way. So try to be a little bit sympathetic towards things like that, and the malicious intent, like where the people come in and calling you, derogatory names. Those are the people that the ninja should get them. Yeah. So when you start out, try to have a balance of mods to like the number of viewers you have. If you have a lot of viewers, you're gonna need a lot of mods. If you have like 5, 6 viewers, you might need a mod. Or even like if you're streaming yourself, just.
That shouldn't be like your biggest fear, like when running, like if you're a smaller broadcaster, like moderation level, because you can handle it yourself most of the time. Just don't call it out, like don't point it out, like don't feed into them. But most of the time with smaller broadcasters, like if you're around like under 50 viewers and things like that, it's pretty easy to deal with. And a lot of trolls aren't going to be hunting like smaller broadcasters to come in. And if they are, like they really have no life. Just going into that kind of thing. It's like, oh, they're running a charity event, let's troll them. Like so, it's mainly with bigger events like any 100 plus and things like that. You'll just see like our front page action. You'll see like the trolls do come out of nowhere. So small broadcasters, you really don't have to worry about that.
And related to that, if you start doing charity events and you have people, we have the word cringe banned inside the Zeldathon chat for a reason. And it's because people come in and they're like, wow, this is cringe. Like when we're like, I don't know, what's something dumb that we do?
A lot.
Everything.
Spin the duck. Yeah. We have a duck that's taped to a lazy Susan.
Yeah.
And sometimes we hit a goal and we spin and we sing a dumb little song and people come in and they're like this is cringe. It's like, yo, it just raised money for charity. We understand it's not like
everybody's cup of tea.
It's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's silly, it's stupid, and we're having a good time. So like, if people are saying stuff like that in the chat, just ignore them. They're not worth it. Like, you're having a good time. Most of the audience is having a good time. Don't let it get to you.
Yeah, the first year that we introduced music for the Mega Marathon, we used Nightbot that Nightdep produces. I got to appreciate their blacklist word system because, yeah, like you said, cringe. It was flooding the chat. I put that in there and
chat looked better.
We have instances of like people like somebody like beats their game like at Zeldathon and they're like, yes, I'm so glad, or like they pop off a little bit and somebody starts like cringe. It's like, yo, someone's happy. Let them be happy. like you'd pop off too if you just sat on a stupid couch with people spouting memes at you for 8 hours. It's like, yes, I'm out of here. Peace.
My memes aren't stupid.
Intelligent memes. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
One of my favorites happens every time we play. One of our biggest marathons is a Sonic marathon, which half of the Sonic catalog is not great.
Correct. I say Assault 3/4.
And we all take a turn picking one of the bad Sonic games. Hutch, you're Sonic Boom. I'm Sonic 06. Brittany is Sonic Shuffle. And my favorite time that we actually had a troll come in, it was the only time we really enjoyed a troll. And it was one guy just kept, man, you guys really suck at Sonic Shuffle. I'm like,
and you're good at
this Mario knockoff game? Mario Party knockoff? Yes, yes, we do suck at this game. You're right. But at that point he started to, we were playing around with it, but he started to get malicious. He started to get real mean, and specifically at Brittany, even though there's 3 other people playing, and you weren't even that bad. You were winning, so it didn't make any sense. So, yeah, like, but so.
Well, why don't you stream the game yourself, guy?
Yeah, we actually.
Let's see your Sonic Shuffle skill.
That's exactly.
Guess how many people you watching? Not many.
Well, that's exactly what we said. Yeah, we were like, go play it yourself. We're banned. So when those situations come up, don't do that. Do what they were just saying. Just nick it off, especially when you can tell it's malicious. Don't play with it, because in that specific situation, it kind of killed the mood. It killed the mood for a solid hour, and it took us some time to rebuild that momentum.
Speaking of killing the mood, I think we have time for one more question.
Oh, boy.
and anybody, one last question. Anybody?
Sickest question you got.
We got another one. Okay, let's go.
Yo, let's go.
Another one.
So, we were trying to find like good microphones for like the couch cam, and we're having the hardest time figuring something out. Do you guys have any recommendations?
Rode shotgun mics.
Yeah. So I mean, let's put it this way. It depends on the type of event you are. Like, so GDQ, because they don't have people who, when people sit down for their run at GDQ, they stay in their seats for their run, and so they're able to use the clip-on lavalier microphones, and like you can get like Shure ones, like some of those, like even for like $60 at like the mid-range, because they're pretty cheap and affordable. And those are good if you're having like some sort of like a marathon where people don't need to move a lot. But if you're going to be active a lot, like at Zellathon, we have people up and down like every 10 minutes, and if we had tried to clip microphones on all of them, all of our microphones would be dead probably within 2 days. And so instead, we have shotgun microphones, which are omnidirectional, so they pick up right in front of them, and we point them down above the couch, kind of a little bit angled, so it kind of, funnels. It's hard to describe microphones without looking at them. But yeah, no, we just try to mount them above, and we have two of them, one for like front couch and one for the back couch area. And the Rode NTG2 is the ones that we use. I don't know if anybody else has specific microphone suggestions, but that's proved to be pretty dang good at getting.
I think in y'all's situation, specifically not in a convention or in anywhere where there's an audience, I agree with them completely. When you get into a weird situation where you have people sitting on the couch and an audience could be coming up and doing random things that you really don't want people to hear, because there's trolls in person exist.
Yeah.
And we've had that experience, and you don't want a shotgun mic picking that up. And what we have at Mega Marathon, our microphones, if the microphone is more than 3 inches away from the sound, it's not going to pick it up. But if it's right next to it, it'll pick it up clearly, perfectly. And so, first of all, don't do one at a con, but if you do, that's one of the few opportunities that it's not exactly the best time to use a shotgun mic. Every other time at home, at a hotel where you don't have a live audience and you have to worry about randos, I agree with them completely, actually.
I feel like everyone can agree, like camera's okay, but audio is going to be like your most important thing, especially if you are starting to do like events long term. Investing in audio is probably the most important thing you can do. Getting like a small mix board and then a super solid mic that you're happy with, like that's going to it's going to make your event a lot better. They can hear you. Like visual is important, but I feel like audio is going to be the most important thing for any kind of charity broadcast.
Into. Yeah, because like you're saying, like when you're looking at a stream, I mean, yeah, you can tell when something's visually bad, but you can accept that. If something's being pumped directly into your ears that's bad quality, you're gonna be like, no, I'm going to watch this other stream.
Yeah, so I mean, it's an investment for good audio. You're looking around like under $300 for like a solid little mixer and then some like 2 shotgun mics, but it's definitely worth it for the long term. So hopefully that answered your question. Okay, cool.
I believe that we do kind of have to wrap it up because I think is there another panel here at 6?
No.
There's a little bit of a shake. So anybody else have any more questions? We can end it now, or if there's another question, we can do it. I mean,
or we could do funny stories.
Fun stories. Anybody have some fun charity marathon stories?
Charity marathon stories.
I have one where we had a troll. So we were on the front page. This was on the Able Gamers Twitch channel, and we were on the front page of Twitch, and it was like midnight, and Brian from our charity was playing League of Legends, and somebody came in and just casually told him that he sucked, and our chat actually was just like, "Hey, this is a charity marathon," and he was like, "What?" And the person actually ended up apologizing and then subscribing to our channel, and I'm pretty sure they've been subscribed for like 4 years.
Wholesome.
So
that's amazing.
It was like the first time a troll thing worked out well.
Positively. That's 1% right there.
Yeah, usually if you tell them it's for a charity
1%.
event, that it doesn't stop.
No.
Do you have a story, Kate?
Well, I was going to say, can I say like one of my favorite donation goals that we've done?
Yeah, go for it.
Back when Vine was a thing, we did one. I think it was St. Jude's as well. We did a prom dress pole jump.
No, that was like Adventure then, or Relief.
Was it?
Relief. Yeah, it was Relief because Jackson was there.
It was Jackson and Pop-Tart. They both got in my prom dresses with me, and like we all had separate dresses on. We jumped in the pool for money. It was great. It was a good time. You did. You did. You had a hot red dress.
And that footage is permanently bossed into my eyeballs.
It was so good.
Because the worst part was, you guys went to the hot tub afterwards, and Jackson was still wearing the dress, and he was just in there with his dress, and it's just like slipping. I'm like, please, Jackson, I can't. I don't need this. I don't need this footage. It's still on my computer.
It's one of my favorites.
I'm too much of an archivist. I can't delete it, even though I should. It made money for charity. What other dumb stuff have we done for charity?
So we do like some like dumb donation wars like late night when like we need donations coming in to keep things alive. Like I think my favorite was probably the favorite childhood TV network, and then like you get like the ones you'd expect like Disney and Cartoon Network, and then somebody threw to Food Network.
Dude, Rachel raised my hero, so
but like it
back
raised
off.
money, and we just had a ball doing it.
Can we run the microphone over to Eric? Do you have anything to add on to that?
Make it short. I know you like stories.
So I was the one who took over that whiteboard and added Food Network, because like whiteboard stuff is good. It gets people. It's like you're baiting them into donating because it's like, oh, fight for your favorite TV channel from when you were a kid, But like, still get donations, but sometimes it's nice, like if it starts to slow down, to spice it up. So I said, I'm taking this over, I'm adding Food Network. I had it where if you donated at least $5, you could add a rule to the board or just change the board completely. And we just started adding stuff that just wasn't like TV channels anymore, but you could still vote for your TV channels. It got like really weird.
What flavor are you?
Your cigarette flavor. One of the more recent ones that we did was...
Yeah, we had another one where it was, since my username is like Pop-Tart Gamer, people ask me like, what flavor are you? And I hate that question.
And what flavor are you?
Daddy flavor.
Well, according to the whiteboard that we had for this marathon, I'm a bunch of cigarette was one of them. And just stuff like that, so.
Sick. Just like my dog.
Yeah.
Also, congratulations to Abraham Lincoln for winning Best Daddy at our last.
It's true.
Congratulations.
So I think my favorite thing about like doing charity stuff, like, so I've been doing this for about almost 6 years now, like raising money, and it kind of like transformed like what I've been doing, like my whole like kind of like life path thing. I actually work for a charity now, which is like the most fulfilling thing, and it's probably changed everyone else like working with broadcasting and stuff, because you really never thought about like, oh, I'm gonna work for a charity one day, like. So it really changed like my whole perception of like how I view the world and what I'm doing with my life. So like that's my favorite thing that's ever happened with charity marathons.
Yeah,
like,
because you get to meet all these new broadcasters, and it's always fun because live, like, it's unlimited, the number of ideas, like the ways you can raise money for charity. Like we've seen so many unique things over time. Like people not just playing games, doing silly donation goals. Like they've been doing the cooking streams. Like there's people on Twitch who do blacksmithing. Like they make swords and shields, and they're really cool. And I was like, if you donate this much money for charity, I'll emblazon your name onto the sword, and that's like so cool. Like there's people who've gone tattoos for charity. I mean that's a big decision. It's not like a sword, but what am I on about? It's cool because every time you think you've seen or heard all the ideas, Brooke walks into my marathon room holding a microwave and says, "I'm gonna microwave grapes." and I'm like, what is this? I thought we were a Zelda marathon.
No. Nope.
You are not allowed near our friend Tanner.
I'm not. No, I do it for the marathon that I help direct.
Okay.
I will not do anything
I'm just
to
letting
your
you know
marathon.
that he's already destroyed a microwave once.
I will blow up
We
our
don't need another
marathon,
one
not
destroyed.
anyone else's. So don't have me at your
And it was
marathon
a
and
baby
have me
carrot.
run it. Don't let me run your marathon.
Any other stories before we wrap up?
Any other stories?
I got one.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you about something that traumatized me.
I have a story. I have a story that's gonna make me mad. Go ahead.
Okay. So one of the benefits of being at a convention is there's a lot of guests, there's a lot of musicians. People are just going to be here anyways. Might as well raise some money for charity while they're here, which is really awesome. A couple years ago, Hot Pepper Gaming was here. And that we were just going to eat a pepper and just play a game. And it was going to be bad for a little bit, but whatever. And they were like, let's up the ante. And I was like, okay, I'll eat a pepper every time I die.
Oh.
And So it was a game I'm really good at. I was playing Mega Man X, and I was a little too cocky. So I died in basically the first stage, Chill Penguin, by just making a rookie mistake, and it went from a really, really good run to a real bad run. And I don't eat spicy things anymore. But no, and the worst part about that, though, was that it was so popular and we raised so much money. That was like half the money we raised in that one run for that entire session. And now every year, everyone's like, so you're going to eat a pepper, Brian? I'm like, no, I'm not. But one person has made a rule for me this year. If one single person donates exactly, because he was making a lot of 420 jokes, 420.69, I have to eat all the peppers.
That's cheap.
So,
yeah, I was gonna say, how many times can you do this? How many boxes of peppers can show
I
up?
agree to one for that. So if you donate so many 420.69s, yes, I'll do that, and as many peppers come along. But so that's going on right now.
Do you have Prime Now where you live?
We have peppers here. There's a pepper store.
Oh yeah, for
that's
this one.
walking distance from here, which is another mistake. Anyways, yeah, that's my traumatizing story. How about you, Hutch? You got one?
That was going to be mine.
Theft.
That has given me my favorite picture of you. If you want to check it out on megamarathon.com, go to the Mega Marathon 3 videos. It's right there at the top. It's really great. He looks like a hot mess. It's great.
I'm basically, Jared from Hot Pepper Gaming is like just way back having the most glorious time, enjoying every second of it, while I'm like holding a SNES controller and like leaning my head on a trash can. That was that one. That was the last game of the marathon too. Last game of the marathon. And I think I'm really glad it was.
So my story is of a donation goal that did not happen, and I'm very sad it did not happen because it was supposed to happen at our last event, and it was a struggle. And I'm going to tell the story really quickly, Brooke, because I know you know the story. When I was 10, there was a barbecue sauce I liked.
I'm mad.
And there was only at one restaurant in my tiny town, and so here I am 13 years or 14 years later, and I'm like, I want to find the sauce. So I find their website. They have a website now, Future, and I send them an email, but I realized the stupidness of my situation, so I signed it George Costanza, asking them where they get their barbecue sauce. And it's one place in a slightly bigger town, 45 minutes north of that of my old town, and it's the only place that distributes this barbecue sauce. And I make a plan because they say they sell it only in quantities of 4 gallons. And I prepare my $50 because I'm going to buy it and I'm going to taste it on stream. And everybody in the marathon, I was going to go buy big ol' wings, and we were all going to like have a dip and relive my childhood memory of this sauce. And hopefully it was as good as I remembered. And then in the place where we host the marathon, there was like a lot of snow, and we could not get to the place.
We were like less than a block.
We were less than a block away from my barbecue sauce, but as we got stuck in the snow, they closed. The place closed, and we could not go get the barbecue sauce. And I'm just really sad, and I wanted to share my sadness.
So he's not.
What a great way to end this.
If anybody knows where to get some Wild West Gold Rush barbecue sauce,
He's not going to tell you the best part, though. So we were trying to get it unstuck, and I was like, "Can you get in and drive and try to back out?" So he got stuck, and then I was like, "Get out of the car." He gets out, he's in a suit and all this stuff, and slips and falls, and he makes the funniest sound I've ever heard an individual make. He goes, blah! It's like when Sheik dies. It's like, blah! So I'm concerned. I'm like, are you okay? And I just want to laugh. He's like, I'm fine. Gets in the car. We sit there for like a total 5 seconds. Like, you said blah when we fell. And we laughed for the whole way back. Like, that's all we did was
which
just
is great
laugh.
because we were really angry when we moved the car.
I was so mad. I had to go pick up 4 gallons of barbecue sauce. At a
Do what you must for charity and have
dumb
fun and
thing.
be safe. That is the overall theme. Are we good? Are we good?
We're good.
All right, we'll be around to chat. End panel.
Congratulations, you won.
Because I have to go to our area stage. We're raising money for Child's Play.
go check
This
out
man's
Marathon.
actually going to come, and Jackson Parody is going to be with me tomorrow night. And I'm playing Mega Man 1, but we took all the music out of the ROM, so he's going to be replacing the music with his accordion.
Go check out Able Gamers. They're down in the merch hall.
Yeah, we're like down there. You'll see there's pachinko machines when you walk in. It's loud. You can help us make sure that everyone can play video games.
Sick.
Cool.
Yeah.
At
Awesome.
Zelda Fawns with an S.
There you go.
It's time to leave.
I feel like we should give this to the